Vows We Keep, which just came out on Sunday. You worked with Fiona and Zibby and David and stuff. How was that your first time working with Fiona at all?
Yeah. It was
Really?
my first time working with all of them, in fact. The only person on that film that I had crossed paths with before was Guy Christie,
Yeah.
um, who plays George. He plays the guy who becomes the partner at the event firm that Fiona was trying to get the job. And so he's the only one that I've
Oh
crossed
yeah,
paths with.
he is a oh my god, that
He's great and he's very funny.
the boss is
Him and yeah, that's Kurt Long. The two of
I,
them together are so funny.
yeah, but like, I mean, you saw my tweets. I was like cussing. I pretty much kept my tweets at G-rated, but at home I was cussing him out on TV.
Yeah, which is how you know the actor is good at what he does.
I know, right?
Really makes you hate
When
that character.
they get a reaction out of you, you know that that's exactly what they're supposed to do, because even if it's a bad reaction, like
Oh
that's
yeah.
what they want.
There's that one. There's that. I mean, he it was the actor Kurt who came up with this idea of continually getting my name wrong. So when he first meets me, she says Jared, and he's like Gerard, got it. And then next time he calls me Gerald, and it's like it's so subtle. But when you go back and watch it, it's like a very funny moment where
Yeah.
it's just this guy who's so pompous and so full of himself that like new information that doesn't serve him doesn't land anywhere. And
Mm.
and so same thing in that flower scene, he just has the moment where he's kind of like gesturing at the flowers, like, what is this? And he's like, you guys can do this, we'll go to catering. Every time he would do it, we would kind of cut and then all chuckle to ourselves. He was just very, very, very charming and very funny.
Oh
And
my
in
gosh.
real life, nothing like the character. Like such
That's
a nice
good because his
yeah.
character is a jackass.
Oh, he knows how to do it. He turns it on.
Oh. I
Yeah.
don't know how actors do that. Like how actors could, who's a really nice guy, can like play.
Yeah.
I would assume
We've
it's
all
hard.
we've all met those people in real life, and
Yep.
and you hate talking to them, but you're also going like, oh, what a great character, and you store it somewhere. So that's what it is. You're channeling the person that treated you like that.
I was like, I was hoping for Fiona to like slap him or something.
That would be that's like the lifetime version.
Yeah,
But
I do have to say you've had a pretty good career on Hallmark. You've done. I saw you in a movie with God have mercy. It was a cooking
oh
movie
yeah,
for
I did.
Hallmark.
I've done a couple of cooking ones. I did
I think it
Appetite
was
for Love with Taylor and Andrew
yeah.
and Marcus Rosner, and
You also did one with I, I think it was with Jen Lilly.
yeah, Jen and Brendan Penny.
Yeah,
Um,
because
uh,
you were like in a basketball court scene.
me and Brendan still laugh about that. We were like wearing matching tracksuits playing basketball twice to talk about our feelings. It was like the funniest, weirdest scene.
Yeah,
Um, and literally, like, neither of us had seen each other's wardrobe. So we showed up on set and we were like, it looks like we went shopping together, bought matching tracksuits, and then we're like, want to play some 1-on-1? Like, it was like a very bizarre choice, but it was quite funny. Also, neither of us are. I mean, he's decently good at basketball. I am like professionally bad at basketball, and so the two of us playing together this weird pickup game with all these cameras around. It was like, don't hit the cameras with the ball. And I was like, how much control do you think I have over this ball? It's like the ball's gonna go where it wants. I can't do this. Yeah, it was. But yeah, I've been pretty lucky to do a number of fun projects with Hallmark.
yeah. Well, which one was your favorite? I would assume it would probably be Christmas at Evergreen.
Yeah, favorite's a hard one. I think there are different things that stood out with each of them or with a number of them that I really loved. Christmas Evergreen obviously was very like near and dear to my heart. Um, more than anything, like getting to work with Rukia. Like Rukia is a forever friend. We know each other very well now. Our families know each other. Like it's a pretty exciting thing to meet somebody like that, and also to know how intricately woven our paths were even before we met each other. We like her her best friend when she was a kid was one of my closest friends in my 20s, and like and that person's also like a fantastic actress, and like none of those paths crossed. Our parents crossed paths years back. Like her father knew about my father. Like there were just a lot of things. So yeah, Christmas in Evergreen was a pretty special one. This one actually turned out to be, in my opinion, a very special one. I think the people that I got to work with, you asked a moment ago, Fiona, and then we started talking about Kurt, but getting to work with Fiona, with David, with Jessica Harmon, with Zibby, like each of them were I had a very distinct and different relationship with that crystallized within moments of chatting for whatever reason. Like Fiona is one of the kindest, like funnest people to be around. She's extremely funny, and just always kind of like having a good time and bringing everyone's spirits up. Zibby and I would get into like the deepest of conversations within 3 seconds of speaking with each other. David is like an incredible multi-talented artist, like actor, musician, beatboxer, poet, like all sorts of things. And so he would just kind of open his mouth and deliver these nuggets, and you'd be like, "What? You can do that too?" So he was always very impressive. And then Jessica Harmon, who was our director, just like keeps it realer than anyone has ever kept it. And so getting to speak with her where nothing is precious, about art and about all those things was you know, you couldn't have asked for, let alone like a safer place, but a more engaged, and connected place. So this one is pretty special. My first one was the one that I did with Taylor Cole and Andrew Walker and Marcus Rosner and a few other people, Appetite for Love. And I think that also is like one of my favorites because it was the first time I was introduced to this Hallmark world. I didn't really know what it was, and I was kind of figuring out like what the style was and like what these stories are about and like why we're here doing this. So yeah, that was a pretty special one. And also getting to meet those two leads, Andrew and Taylor, I feel like I got very lucky meeting them first.
Yeah.
And that's not to say like, that's not to speak ill of anybody who came after them, but what was really fascinating about the two of them is they really set the tone for what I should and could expect of peers and co-stars. The two of them are such generous leads, that they make space and time for everybody. There's nothing hierarchical. Everything is we're all in this together collaboratively discussing things. There's a lot of kindness, there's a lot of politeness. And so anytime I would go onto a set and I would not see that, that would be the outlier, because they had done such a clear job, and they were such, in my opinion, stars in that way of making sure that this world behaves a certain way.
Yeah.
And so anytime I would be on set where somebody would be behaving less than that, they were my gold standard. So that project remains very special for that reason, among others.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say Christmas in Evergreen was one of my favorites because let's be honest here, Hallmark does have a history of whitewashing their cast, their leads. And you and Rukia, with that movie specifically, was the one of the first Black leads in a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
At the time, it was like there were only 3 others that I can think of.
It was one of a few, exactly. I think in that same year, like an old friend of mine, Ronnie Rowe Jr., was in Mistletoe something with Julie Gonzalo, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
And so in one calendar year, you do have like 2 or 3, but it's all, everything's the first of something. And certainly for ours, the two of us getting to be like front and center main people in Evergreen 3 and 4, next to a Holly and alongside, Ashley and Jill, you end up with this, what I like is that you end up with a very diverse group of faces rather than all Black Hallmark. Yep. All like, because for me, I'm like, singular is nice, it's great. It has its place and it should exist too, but one is no different than the other, right? The
No.
the world is multi. So what you want to see is multi. And although I recognize that Christmas and Evergreen didn't represent every single option, at the very least we were able to position two and to say like, look, all of this is one world, and that was really exciting. And you know, like we're watching Hallmark do it. Uh, let's call it bit by bit, generously, but we're watching
Slowly.
Hallmark do it very slowly. But we are watching it happen, right? Like,
Yeah.
and again, I'm terrible with movie names, but you have Jake Epstein and Jackie Lai have a Christmas movie or a something movie, I guess I don't even know what it is, coming out. And so I'm like, okay, well, we're not ignoring the fact that interracial and interfaith and that these exist. And we also don't have to make too much of a meal of it. It can just exist because we're all just people who fall in love and and meet each other where we're at.
Talk about interfaith. You guys had your Jewish slash Christian wedding,
Ah,
and that was beautiful. I posted on Twitter. I was like, I never thought I would see Hava Nagila playing on a Hallmark channel. And
yeah,
I love
yeah,
Hava Nagila. I love the whole
yeah,
chant dance thing and the people dancing around.
yeah,
Shoot, you should have
yeah.
had
It
that whole
was
scene.
it was pretty. I know it was pretty wild. And what I liked is that they didn't cut away from anything.
Mm,
Like I know that wedding, even though the movie was moving towards that wedding as a finale piece,
yeah,
I know that the wedding itself wasn't central to all the plot points,
yeah,
but it would have been very easy to sort of insinuate the wedding had happened without showing you anything.
yes.
And I have seen other movies, not necessarily Hallmark, but other movies in the past that did that, that sort of like cut around culture or cut around religion or cut around faith or whatever it
We
is.
just talked about that in South Beach Love, where they were doing a quinceañera in the movie, but they never really explained what a quinceañera is or the symbolism behind the
Yeah,
quinceañera. So it's like, is it really celebrating culture if you're
right.
not telling what is going on or why it is? Because then if you don't know what a quinceañera is or the symbolism behind quinceañera, you're gonna look at it as a fancy birthday party.
You just might not know. And I think television has a great opportunity. It's like it's this very funny thing. If we were in person and I was talking about something that somebody didn't know, they could ask. And if
Yeah,
they didn't, they're well within their means to look it up.
right.
And I'm a person who sort of goes like, don't make me do the work for you. Go look it up because you can.
Yeah,
But television is such a crafty medium. It's visual, so you can explain a lot um without it being,
first.
yeah, without it being expositional.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like there's space for it. And so in television, I come from it, I think, from the same place you do, which is to say we don't have to make a big deal about it, but we can't gloss over it as if it's not a big deal, because
right.
it's a big deal to somebody, right? Like, and this interfaith wedding is a great example. There were just these little moments um, where they would say, well, his rabbi is on board and we're speaking to the new minister,
Yeah,
and that's enough for people to go like, oh, language, okay, so rabbi and a minister are equal within these two religions. I don't need
yeah,
to know a ton about the religion
yeah,
to know that the rabbi is equal to the priest, and if I know what a priest is, I therefore know what a rabbi is.
yeah.
You know, so there's ways that you can do it.
Yeah, without
um
smashing your head on what is a Jewish ceremony, you can still you know, bring up stuff like what they did with the breaking of the cups, him wearing his yarmulke, the
yeah,
hup, I can never say the word correctly, huppa,
the
huppa,
sopa, yeah,
whatever you just said, you know, and having a gila, you know, it's not smashing your head with this is a Jewish ceremony, but it's like
exactly.
you're getting
It's just there.
yeah,
Yeah, it's part of the fabric of our world. And I think that that's, you know, like those are the things that I like to watch the most,
yeah,
is where I can look at the world, and it's almost as if like there's a world that I'm seeing outside my window, and I can just hold my TV up and it's a reflection.
yeah,
I'm like, yeah, that's just what it looks like.
yeah,
And so I don't have to really suspend disbelief. And I also don't have to go like, oh, how special, how unique. Instead, I can go like, how very normal.
yeah,
Um, this is a little bit tangential, but it's in the world of what we're talking about. Superman just released a new comic where I think the character's name is Joe Kent, but he's the son of Superman, and he comes out in the latest issue as being bisexual.
Yep,
And it's a really big thing on Twitter right now. And you have a picture of a young, masculine Superman kissing somebody, and Dean Cain, who famously played Superman, has spoken out about it, admonishing it, and da 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 da. And a very, very well known comic book creator has just responded on his own Twitter just about normalization. He's like, and I'll butcher this, it's a total paraphrase, but his point is to say how wild it is that a hot take, which is to say, like, can you believe Marvel or DC or whoever, whatever that, I don't even know which world they're in right now, is doing this. His argument is, he's like, it shouldn't be outrageous for someone to do something that is so normalized worldwide for a group of people.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're looking at, right? It's like, this just is what it is. It's a reflection of the world, and largely we kind of want to go like, yeah, got it, rather than, oh, horrible.
I just laugh at people who say like, oh my God, Superman was never supposed to be gay, and why are we doing all this? And I'm sitting there going, Superman is an alien.
Thank you.
What the
right? Like, what are we even discussing? Like, this is a fellow from another planet. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. And also, like, it speaks to the way in which heteronormative ideals has really permeated our culture. That we're like, well, aliens still play by the same rules. We're like, aliens? We're discussing aliens? We have ownership over aliens now? Okay, I don't know. I'm out. I don't want to have this conversation.
Like, aliens, why are this is also why I have given up on Christianity, because I feel like they have forced so many of their beliefs onto the world that I'm just sitting there going like, what the heck is wrong with you? Right. And I'm like, anyway. But yeah, the thing I wanted to talk mostly about just how does it feel being part of that breakthrough for Hallmark? Because as much as we want to gloss over the fact that, yeah, it's history, and yeah, Hallmark is finally doing it. You are part of that history. It's got to be like, yay, I'm holding on to this mantle. Let me,
No, yeah, I mean, I have, if you've heard me speak on this, you know, like, I have many sort of like points of view that I come from. I'm not a person who really celebrates easily. It takes a lot for me to get to a place where I'm like willing to put a flag in a mountain and be like, here we are, because I just don't agree with it. I don't think it's true. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm also keenly aware that small victories do require celebration, so that other people can see them, so that other people can be copied in on what it is. So from my point of view, I am humbled and grateful to be a part of the beginning of something. I'm also judicious in my understanding of whether or not it's the beginning or if it is a stop along the way. And by that, I mean to say what I will celebrate is in 10 years, if people are represented with a really high level of diversity and equity, then I will look back on this moment and say, my goodness, I was there.
Yeah.
Whereas to celebrate today feels, sorry, my phone just turned on while we were talking, like the FBI was listening. To celebrate today makes me feel like, it makes me feel premature in a way, or it makes it feel premature in a way, because if in 10 years nothing came out of it, I will feel foolish. And I will feel like, was I just a pawn in something? Not that anybody else would see it that way, but that's my own personal narrative. And so it's important to me, I on one hand never want to be the person who's only speaking about one thing, but if no one else is talking about it, then I'm happy to talk about it every time. But every time I do, I'm going to say, this is something we should talk about with everybody. That when we have name celebrity number 5 on the show, not just celebrity who looks like me, that we want to bring this up, because what we're actually bringing up is, are you a part of a movement where everybody's story gets to be told? And so for me personally, I am part of that movement, and it benefits me, and it benefits my children and my nieces and my cousins, and like I have friends whose children look like me and who are going to grow up in a world where they grew up seeing someone like them on television, which I didn't have the opportunity to do. So
Yeah,
I'm
neither
thrilled,
have I.
right?
And like that's one
And think of
thing.
how strange that is and how
I,
foreign that is. I
yeah, I
spoke to
mean,
somebody last year around Christmas in Evergreen, and she was Jewish by faith, and she was queer. And she was like, she made it like we had a great conversation, and one of the things she made very clear, she was like, I love the Christmas movies, but I've never been invited to the party. And like even saying that makes me almost weepy. Like it's just so preposterous to me. But that's what needs to change, right? Like look, I have a 3.5-year-old. If I ever get to a point where he is throwing a birthday party and he's not inviting people to the party, I have a problem with that. And he's going to hear from me because I am a person who really believes that people should be invited to the party. That we're not working to exclude people. We're working to figure out what it means to bring the whole community in and say, let's do this together. It doesn't mean that we're all like arms linked in arms and we're all besties, but it does
yeah.
mean that we see each other as you belong here and you deserve to be here. um Anyways, that's so.
Yeah,
So how do I feel about it? I mean, I'm riddled with conflict.
I was just talking to Catherine Kim, who stars in Boyfriends of Christmas Past, who will be out in 2 weeks. I was telling her she's Korean American, and I'm Filipino, and we were talking about how, like, as Asian women who are around the same age, we probably have the same stories of not growing up seeing people looking like us on TV, and now we are so lucky to be that representative for the next generation. You know what I mean?
Completely, entirely. I don't know if you know Donna Benedicto, or
Yes,
if you've
I
gotten to
love
interview
her.
her or not. Have
I
you
would
have you
love to
have
interview her.
send her a message. She'll say yes. Send her a message.
Yeah,
She is delightful.
yeah,
She lives here in Vancouver, and we've crossed paths a number of times and became friends. But this is a conversation that we have all the time. I'm like, you're the first. You're the first.
yeah.
You are the first Filipina Canadian in Hallmark as a lead, as far as I know. I certainly
Oh,
don't
she's
know.
gonna be lead.
She's been shooting nonstop this year. I don't know what comes out or when it comes out, but she is like
I can't wait for that to happen.
she is in my heart. She's already a huge deal. On your television, she will also be a huge deal.
The other
Like,
people that I want to finally get out of the co-star role are the Wongs, Cardi Wong and Nelson Wong.
yeah.
I mean, how many Hallmark movies have they been
Yeah.
in?
Cardi, I don't know Cardi personally. I know Nelson personally. Nelson's amazing. Nelson's very, 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 very,
Yeah,
very funny. Uh, I don't know what his track is in terms of where he's going to go. It would blow my mind if Cardi Wong doesn't move into a lead role.
yeah,
And that's, again, I don't know him. I watched his work because I was introduced to him through Zach Hugg,
yeah.
who was one of the writers behind Christmas and Evergreen. He did Evergreen 3, and then he co-wrote it with Shari Sharp for Evergreen 4. And Cardi is one of his like champions. Is one of the people that's like, Cardi's amazing. So I went back and watched 2 movies that he was in. um Lord, I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but one of them was My Best Friend's Wedding. I think he was in that, and then the other one I can't remember, but he was fantastic in both of them. And so it's just, I don't know what it takes, but somebody will see it and recognize it. Like, let's put it this way: Zach writes for Hallmark, pretty much. I mean, he writes for other people, but he writes for Hallmark, and he knows that Cardi's amazing. So at some point, you have to believe that awareness spreads.
Yeah,
It
he's
can't
gonna
just be
get
this
his.
one
I'm
lone
sure
person.
he's gonna get his.
Has to. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you have any other projects coming up soon?
I'm about to
You have a
shoot
Christmas
something
movie?
for. No, unfortunately. I don't know. Start a petition. Yeah. No, no, I have no idea. No Christmas movie this year, unfortunately. Which I feel the same way about as you do. I think I'm very sad that I'm not doing a Christmas movie this year.
That
Um,
sucks.
yeah,
We
yeah.
haven't. This is like what you've done the past two. How many years straight have you done a Christmas movie?
I think at least 3, if not 4.
Yeah.
I did
The two Christmas
no,
and
I think
Evergreens.
I did both Christmas and Evergreens. I did It's Christmas Eve with
Yep.
Leanne and Tyler. I did uh Jingle Around the Clock. Jingle Around the Clock. No, Jingle, the one that Brooke Nevin was in.
Yeah, I think.
Um and Latanya Williams played my wife. Uh I don't know. That's 4. That's at least the last 4 years. So
What?
I know. I know. I don't know. Nothing.
Antonio. You
Believe me, I feel the same way. Um, but yeah, I have a little thing coming up for CBC called Fakes, which is it's a small role in it. It's kind of like, from what I've read, it sounds like, so it's about 2 young women who start a counterfeit ID business empire, um,
Ooh.
and they're like high school age. So it kind of makes me think of Good Girls that just wrapped on Netflix, kind of crossed with Mean Girls. But I don't know. Who knows? I've only read a little bit on it, so I could be way off on that potential log line. But yeah, that's what I'm working on right now.
Oh. What's your dream role, if you could, or your dream and your dream co-star?
Dream co-star. These are things I don't actually think about, and maybe that sounds strange. I feel like every time I meet a co-star, I discover that they were my dream co-star, but I wouldn't have known it. I don't know anything about anybody, so until I meet them, it's all like projection. I would love to work with Taylor at some point, because over the years I've just really come to love her. I've done a couple movies with her, and she's just so nice. But like, I would kill to work with Rakia again. I would kill to work with Fiona again. I would love to do something with Zibby, like,
Zibby is awesome. I just
Zibby's
started
amazing.
watching Virgin
Oh,
series. Have you seen?
she's so good. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
and
was,
she's
yeah,
hilarious. She's so
yeah.
hilarious, and I
She's
like
just
Fiona too.
fantastic. Yeah,
But
she's pretty great. And as far as dream role goes, I'm not really. I don't know. I don't have a design on anything. I like work that makes you think. Um, I like work that has social commentary, and that sort of doesn't settle for the tropes of the past or status quo. And
yeah,
so typically when I read something, I like I get really excited by reading things that I think could break ceilings. It I don't see those that often, unfortunately. I think it just the career path that I currently have, it doesn't lead me down that road as frequently as I would like it to. But that said, there are things that have landed on my desk that I've read and been like, wow, this is going to be amazing. Whether or not I get them, I don't know. It's not up to me. So you just kind of, you show up, you do the work, and you see who it's destined for.
um, if you thank you so much for coming on. I had so much
Oh,
fun
my pleasure.
today, and
Yeah, me too.
I hope to talk to you again another time, because we've been talking like for how many months now? At least like
Yeah,
since the year started.
yeah, it's great.
It's like, but yeah, yeah. One thing that you were talking, what you were saying is that you have a voice that sometimes, like, you don't. When others say it, you don't. You take the step forward to have your voice be heard and say stuff. And I try to do the same thing with my podcast. I try to, like, for example, the other day was Indigenous Peoples Day. I didn't see a lot of people posting about a lot of Hallmark fan pages post about it. I made sure to try to highlight that, especially the actors who were Indigenous people who tried to do the same, because they should be celebrated at most.
Everybody should. And it's just about making space. There's enough space. Like, I have actually been less active on social media in the past kind of like 6 months than I
Yeah.
than I normally would be. And part of
Well, you
that
have a
is like,
baby.
exactly, my
Which
between
part?
like,
Congratulations, by the way.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
Your baby
between like
got
now having,
big.
he's a tank. He's got some size on him. Both of my guys, my older guy, when he was that age, was also quite big. So They've just got size.
You just make big babies.
Maybe, yeah. My wife feeds them well. But yeah, between that and work, I've just like backed off of social media, but I'm always kind of paying attention, and I'm always online, or I'm always like near my online feed because I'm paying attention, and I want to know that we're participating in sort of bigger conversations than what we're each doing in these tiny moments. But I do
Yeah.
have to remind myself that it is important to celebrate the tiny moments as much as it is to rage against the machine. Like both of those are valid.
Yeah.
We need both of them for sort of a balanced existence.
Someone said to me when I had a TikTok account I still have the TikTok account. Um, with the whole, I was like, I don't have a big platform. I feel like I don't have I shouldn't voice, I don't have the voice to, you know, an audience really to have an opinion, to make much change in an opinion or whatever. Especially when it came to like race issues or, AAPI hate or, that kind of thing. And so one of my somebody who had a much bigger account than me, who had like over 1 million followers, said to me, he was like, no matter how small your platform is, your voice is important because, like, you have a voice and you have like the chance to talk and let your voice be heard. No matter and like it, even if no one's listening to you, eventually somebody's gonna hear you.
Someone's listening, and you really never know how impact works, right? Like I don't have a very big following. Like my Instagram is
Yeah.
I'm doing something wrong. but but I don't care. Like it's not about, because what I do know, whether I'm speaking to people who already espouse similar views, or I'm speaking to people who respect me enough to accept the challenge that I might offer, there are still people hearing it. And if what little we can offer can engage in conversation that moves the ball forward even a little bit, it's worth it, because that might cause a change. Like we don't know how things work, but that might cause a chain reaction. That person might have a conversation with somebody else that changes them, that saves somebody, or that helps somebody, or that has access to a larger platform. And you know what I mean? Like we just don't know what the effect of it is going to be. But what we do know is that if we feel it, we know it, and we choose to say nothing, we're causing damage to somebody. I always try to think of it through the lens of children, partially because I was a child, as we all were, but also I have kids and I have nieces, and I've watched them go through things that I would wish upon nobody. And all I can think now is, I will speak up because right now you cannot. And I'm going to do everything in my power, even if that means that the building collapses on me, to make sure that you get to walk out of here better than would have otherwise, or in some cases better than I had. That's my point of view, and so if I have the bandwidth and I have the wherewithal to get the words out, I'm not usually getting them out because I need it. I'll deal with myself, in a dark room with closed doors. I'll work through what's happening in here with.
Someone said it before. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Yeah, at some point, like, you gotta like take a stand on.
Yeah. Not only is it a very famous quote, but it's also they say it in Hamilton.
Yeah. But yeah, you just have to make a choice on where it is. And my stance is everybody deserves equality.
No.
Despite race, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, whatever. Everyone deserves equality. But anyway.
At the very least, the conversation's important.
Yeah.
It just is.
Thank you so much. I'll see you later. Next time we have a Hallmark project or whatever.
You bet.
I'm mad that no Christmas.
I know.
How did they skip you?
Who knows? Who knows?
Dude. Ricky has a project at GAC. with
I heard.
Shane.
Yeah.
So she's cheating on you.
I know. We've spoken about it. I was like, she started with him first, so I guess it's okay, but it's not really okay. He's a good dude, so it's
Well, technically he was engaged. They got engaged.
Yeah,
So.
technically. Yeah. But we're a stronger couple.
They got engaged via Zoom, so does it count?
No, it doesn't count. No.
Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye.
All right, take care. Bye.